Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Watchers live stream for May 7th, 2025. Hope you're all having a fantastic day so far, and week. Hell, it's been a week already since last week.
Yep.
And before we kind of dive into today's festivities, Kevin, how the hell are you doing? And it's kind of weird. You're in a different place now.
Yeah, I am in a different place. I just had to do some externship in another state. So this is somebody's basement actually, and they're super cool, super chill. But for the next couple of weeks, you'll be seeing me here instead of my big comfy chair.
Well, there you go. Well, hopefully the chair is still comfy. But
yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, just everything is moving towards the future, towards getting to a better spot. So. It's all good. As for me, it's going pretty good. I actually, literally just before this meeting, or not meeting, I'm in work mode still. Holy shit. Before this stream, I just found out that, because I just finished my second class on Friday last week, and I already got my final paper graded and back to me. I got a 95 on it. So
Nice.
Ended with a 97 in the class, and I'm very excited about that. So, alrighty. So let's go ahead and dive into the stories from this week. So, up first, Kevin Feige apparently has a 10-year plan for the X-Men's future in the MCU. This is coming off the heels of their announcement for some of the returning original cast people to play their characters in Avengers Doomsday, and I mean, I'm guessing in Secret Wars as well. But this makes sense. I mean, you have to have plans in place for something as big as the X-Men. This is so many characters that you're getting added to the world. And, you know, like, this isn't really surprising, but it's still cool to hear.
Yeah, it is very cool to hear, and I can't wait for it, actually. I mean, I haven't seen the Thunderbolts movie yet, but hopefully it can get, the X-Men series can get a lot of storytelling out of all of these 10 years as well.
Yeah, there's plenty of stories to tell with the X-Men. You know, like there's Avengers versus X-Men. There's, you know, the Hellfire Gala. There's a lot of stuff they could do. So I'm very excited for whatever this future has in store. We'll just have to find out if it's going to be the original cast members or if it's going to be some new people.
Yeah, we'll see. But next up, John Wick 5 won't be directed in direct continuation of the story arc, which is actually perfectly fine with me. A quote from Stahelski, is that how you say his name?
Chad Stahelski, who's the director.
Stahelski says, the saga of John Wick is pretty much wrapped up, so the only way to do a 5 is to have a new story that involves John Wick. It's not a continuation with the High Table. John dealt with his grief. It will be really different, and everybody will see the trailer, go, holy fuck, I gotta see it, and I can't wait.
Yeah, hopefully it does the previous films justice, and doesn't feel forced. You know, obviously these films were major hits, so both critically, financially, and with fans. So hopefully hopefully it doesn't undo anything. So.
No, hopefully it does not.
All right, and then some potentially stupid news. Trump wants to impose a 100% tariff on foreign films. And, luckily politics has stayed mostly out of the film space, but unfortunately here it comes crashing through my window like a rogue Amazon delivery drone. This does not make sense. Like, almost all films come to the United States digitally, which you can't impose any kind of tax on. So what does this mean? Does this mean that you're going to tax productions that happen outside of the United States? For instance, if Avengers is filming in London, do they have to pay more in taxes to make the film there instead of here in the US? What does that mean? Does that mean that any films that want to release in the United States, like anything from Bong Joon-ho or any anime, would have to pay extra money to come over here to the US? It does not make sense.
Even Ghibli too, right? Yep. Studio. Yeah. Like
it's a load of stupidity. Like, now there are some legitimate issues that are happening with the film industry, right? We are seeing the lowest numbers of productions being done here in the US ever. So that is low. And there are ways that you can get that to go back up again. And I do think that is important. But the issue, the solution is not taxing these movies. There needs to be more explanation. Luckily, there was something that came out that said they're walking back this statement. And that obviously was not a part of any plan or anything. So who knows? Of course, it's just him mouthing off. So we'll see if it actually ends up coming to be. But it would be stupid. I mean, like, unless it fixes legitimate issues, again, that are happening with the film industry and maybe bringing more productions here to the U.S. But, I don't know. But, like, right after this happened, California announced, like, a huge tax incentive program that they're bringing to the state to bring productions back to the U.S. So who knows? I mean, honestly, at this point, hopefully we'll have some more information soon. But I'd rather keep the human Cheeto out of the news here. So
okay, well then I'll move on then. So, Final Destination Bloodline breaks a world record with fire stunt, having a 71-year-old woman be lit on fire. She came out of retirement to do this. Awesome. Like, hopefully, well, I mean, we won't see it at the Oscars or anything like that for stunt, but
not just yet.
Not yet, but it should be noted on there. That would be very cool for them to
do. 100%. I think that it's really cool that she came out of retirement to do it, and I think that with fire stunts, there's a new material that they use that makes it safer than ever. Apparently this does take place during the big sequence. Like, every Final Destination movie has that big sequence that kicks everything off, and this has something to do with it. But I think it's super cool. They've already submitted it to Guinness World Records, so hopefully they get that in writing.
Hopefully,
and if the movie's good.
No, I was going to say, hopefully Guinness doesn't what is it called, spoil anything if they put their book out this week. Right.
They don't. It wouldn't be this week, but anyhow. But super cool stuff. Next up, something to take with a grain of salt, but this is good, positive news. First reactions for Superman are very positive. Seemingly about the same level of reaction to the recent Thunderbolts movie. So it sounds like we've got a good movie coming up on our hands, which I didn't have doubt for any minute because it's James Gunn. Nope. But obviously you have to take this with a grain of salt. These first reactions are coming from people attached to Warner Brothers, which is the company making the movie. So obviously temper those expectations. Although when Minecraft was previewing, it didn't get any positive reactions. So who knows? Maybe it is being truthful, but do keep, take it with a grain of salt. As with any reactions, these are not reviews yet. These are not first impressions like they do after premieres. This is just like studio reactions. So take it with a grain of salt. Oh, and he's muted.
I just accidentally muted myself. All right. So next up, apparently Jordan Peele has fired his manager when they lost the bidding war for weapons. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, when a film screens, the best example I can think of off the top of my head is Talk to Me, which is the bidding war over their film was sort of documented on the Raka Raka YouTube channel. When a movie screens for distributors, distributors then offer to buy the film. And apparently Weapons, which is the new movie from the director of Barbarian, which is getting very high praise early on, there was a huge bidding war for it. And I guess Monkey Paw Productions, which is Jordan Peele's production studio, wanted to distribute it or to have production or whatever on it, but they lost the bidding war.
Who did they lose it to? Do you know?
That's a great question. I want to see. Weapons is being distributed by Warner Brothers, New Line Cinema. So it is a bigger film. I think it must have been for bidding to actually work on the film and like do the production side of it. So not the releasing. Excuse me, I misspoke. But this was more for the production side. So
okay.
But that says a lot to me that Jordan Peele wanted it that bad, and the man knows what a good horror movie is from his 3 outings. So I have a lot more faith in this movie now.
Yeah, I think so too. And the trailers look so eerie and good, so I'm so down for it.
Yeah, 100%. Alrighty, next up, for those of you out there who are fans of this movie, which is actually a good movie, 10 Things I Hate About You is getting a new sequel, which is apparently in the works, and apparently they want to do a trilogy, which is interesting. I don't know why, but I mean, the first movie has Heath Ledger in it, among some other actors, and it's a good movie at the end of the day. It's not like an amazing film, but it is a good one. And for a romantic comedy, it definitely stands out. It's like an adaptation of Shakespeare, but it's cool. I mean, I don't know if it needs to be made, but if it comes out and it's good, hey, I'll go see it.
All to them who made it, but yeah, it's like the remake of E.T. It's like, do we really need it? Kind of a situation. Yeah. So, but next up, Deadpool and Wolverine movie is in development from Ryan Reynolds. Cool.
Doesn't say Wolverine.
Oh my gosh, I have that on my mind. X-Men and Deadpool movie in development with Ryan Reynolds. There we go. Cool. I mean, let's see where it takes us.
Yeah, according to sources, Ryan Reynolds is developing a film where he teams up with the X-Men but does not join them, because he's gone on record saying that if he were to join the Avengers or X-Men, that would be his wish fulfillment, like Deadpool's character's wish fulfillment, and they want to deny him that. So that kind of makes sense. We still don't know if he's going to be showing up in Secret Wars or Doomsday yet. Probably. If they don't, they'll be stupid, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's cool that he's working on something else and not just like done with the character. So, because that's a character he could play for a while too. You get someone in the suit who looks just like him, and then he can do the voice still. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Next up, the Russo brothers have directed the end credits scene for Thunderbolts. Well, they directed it while on the set of Avengers Doomsday, which is really impressive that they did that late. So really cool. Obviously, for those of you who have not seen the film yet, I'm not going to say what it is, but they were the ones that made it. So we do know that there's going to be some direct correlation to Doomsday in some way. So,
yeah, which is good. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I might go see it this Friday, so we'll see.
Yeah, you should. Well, I'll talk about it in a minute when we get there.
Next up, Joker 2 lost Warner Brothers nearly $150 million. And this is why some movies don't need sequels.
Yep. I mean, I think Joker could have had a sequel, and it could have been a good one. But this one was very misguided. Yeah. Which, it's fine. Next up, though, Rian Johnson's next film after the next Knives Out movie will not be Knives Out 4 or any of the Star Wars films that he was attached to direct at some point. It will be something original, which is good because he's a very good original film director. And he wants a wide theatrical release for the third Knives Out, which is called Wake Up Dead Man, I think. So very excited for that film. And I'm glad that he's going to take a break. I don't want him to get pigeonholed into one series. I mean, the Knives Out films are very good. You know, obviously the first one's the best. Second one takes a little bit of a dip, but, you know, it's still good. So very interested to see what ends up happening for his film after that. Again, a very talented director. So I'm going to go see anything with his name on it.
Yeah, and then I'm glad that some directors take breaks because maybe 3 Knives Out movies might be better than 4 Knives Out movies. You never know.
Yep.
So
exactly, maybe end it with a third one. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Next up, New Elephant Man casts Adam Pearson. Pearson, right?
Yeah,
Pearson from a Different Man in the lead role. Very cool. I loved him in A Different Man. So.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor. For those of you who don't know, he's the actor who actually has the, I don't want to get it wrong, so I'm just saying like the facial dysmorphia, I think is approximately what it's called. So he actually has it in real life, and that is what character or the Elephant Man had as well. And he's gone on record saying that he finds the original performance, because this is based off the stage play, and he's a huge fan of the character and of the performance, and he thought he was inspirational for him becoming an actor. So this is kind of a full circle moment for him, and I really hope that he gets more roles. He's really a fantastic actor. So I honestly, this could be an Oscar win, or not win, but a Oscar potential.
Yeah, it could be. And I really liked him in A Different Man too. He was funny, even though he has the disformity in his face. You kind of look past it, and he's a great actor. Like you could have, he fooled me, and I was very pleasantly surprised with his acting in that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, next up, just announced today, F1, the movie coming up with Brad Pitt, is going to be 2.5 hours long. Kevin, are you ready to sit there in the theater and watch F1 racing for 2.5 hours?
You know, I mean, a whole F1 race is 2.5 hours long. So,
That makes sense. It's probably not going to be an entire race. There's more going on in the movie.
No.
But and length obviously doesn't matter. It just depends on how well-paced it is. So if it's a well-paced movie that's 2.5 hours, go for it. And if it's a good movie.
I'm down for any car movie, actually, so we're okay with
there
it.
You go.
Next up, and last up, Margot Robbie's The Sims movie is still being written. So, I mean, I think this is just going to be such a comedy movie when it comes out, too. Like, I can't wait for all the little Easter eggs and stuff.
And it depends on how they do it. I can definitely see. We know that one of the directors of Loki, one of the main directors, Kate Herron, is the one directing this film. Mm-hmm. And she just gave the positive update regarding that it's still being written, which is good that it hasn't been abandoned. I think there's a way to treat this like a Barbie film, and to make it kind of self-satirizing and funny, and they could skewer gamers too, have someone be stuck in a pool for no reason, and someone takes away the ladders going in and out of it. So a lot of stuff they can do there to make something interesting. So definitely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. All right, well, that is the end of the news segments. Let's go ahead and jump into here. David Zucker has just launched Mastercrunch. Not familiar. I don't know what that is. Let me look it up. I'm not seeing anything, so I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry about that. Joey, either it becomes 20 Things I Hate to 30 Things I Hate, or maybe the sequel's copy from other Shakespeare works. Honestly, both are really funny things. They go 10 things to 20 things to 30 things. I think that's really funny. And if the sequels copy other Shakespearean works, that's also funny too. Like bring them to a romantic comedy level and make it as well written as 10 Things I Hate About You. 100%.
Yeah.
It could work.
But if I don't see 20 things I hate about that person on the screen and so they're not writing it down, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Fox Pixar, basically it's a crash course. Oh, so it's kind of like a masterclass. Okay, that makes sense now. Interesting.
Okay.
I didn't know he was still active. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into the trailers that came out this week. And Kevin and I watched most of these earlier. And what stood out to you, Kevin? Because I know what stands out to me this week.
Well, I mean, it stands, but it's walking. It's the long walk. I think that one's very, very interesting. I mean, How to Train Your Dragon 2 looks fantastic, as always. We've been saying that since the first trailers come out. Honey Don't is another really good one that we watched before the stream, and that was really, it's kind of like an 80s kind of like it looks like a TV well, it looks like a TV show Peacock would have, but it's a movie.
I can see that.
Yeah, so but that one looks, so those three look really, really good to me. And then the highest and the lowest, I think Denzel's going to be very good in that one because of how, I mean, I like Denzel as an actor, so I want to see where he can take this movie.
Yeah, I am definitely looking forward to highest to lowest. I think it's very special when we get a new Spike Lee movie, and one that's not a remake or anything, like it's an original film. So I'm very excited about that. How to Train Your Dragon continues to look like it's going to be a great blockbuster family film. Together, it looks like a really nice piece of body horror. I did not watch this newest trailer because I don't want spoilers. So I'm going to watch the second trailer, but I'm very excited about that one. Long Walk looks like it's going to be good. And then Honey Don't looks like it's going to be another. It's one of the Coen brothers directing it, so it's very Fargo adjacent, and Fargo is a very good, similar kind of film. So, yeah, very excited for those. But Kevin, why don't you take us?
Oh, I was going to say, not to go off movie topics, it's almost 9 o'clock here, and the sun is still out. It's really weird. Sorry, I just had to put that out there.
He's in Alaska, confirmed. Kidding, that doesn't make any sense time-wise. But let's get you over into the box office, Kevin.
Yeah, box office, the Thunderbolts coming in at 74.3 million, Sinners coming in at 33.1 million, third place a Minecraft movie with 13.7 million, fourth is The Accountant 2 with 9.5 million, and Until Dawn just breaking in that top 5 with 3.8 million out there. So I don't know, are you surprised that Thunderbolts got... Is this the first week of Thunderbolts, or was last?
This is Thunderbolts' first week.
I thought it was gonna hit. I thought it was gonna hit like 100 mil. To be honest.
No, I don't think that the public, like, obviously Captain America had a big first weekend. Captain America had a bigger weekend this year, or bigger first weekend. Excuse me. I think the positive word of mouth is going to continue to carry Thunderbolts through very well. And I don't think that the name Thunderbolts just isn't as well known as something like Captain America or even the Fantastic Four. So I think that's going to be the smallest opening weekend, but I do think it's going to have a good long haul. It's got a very good score on Letterboxd right now. I want to say Letterboxd currently has it as a 3.8, which makes it one of the higher rated MCU films. So the word of mouth is going around that it's good. And so hopefully that continues to sustain it, and we'll kind of see it stay in the top 5 over the next week. I see it retaining number 1 next week and maybe the week after, but we'll see. I am surprised, though, that Until Dawn is still on air. That's the biggest one.
Yeah. Just barely.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
Barely. Yeah.
But yeah, awesome stuff. Let's go ahead and then talk about the films that are coming out this week. And the biggest one, if you want to call it that, this week is Fight or Flight. A mercenary takes on the job of tracking down a target on a plane, but must protect her when they're surrounded by people trying to kill both of them. This looks like a bunch of assassins trapped on a thing, kind of like a Bullet Train-esque film, but with Josh Hartnett. So I am all here for it. I've heard it's decent, so I'll take a decent movie any day. Up after that is Shadow Force. An estranged couple with a bounty on their heads must go on the run with their son to avoid their former employer, a unit of shadow ops that has been sent to kill them. This looks like an action thriller from Joe Carnahan, which is very interesting. Joe Carnahan being the director of a couple of different action comedy films, things like The A-Team, recent things like Cop Shop, Bad Boys for Life. He wrote, what is he directing? I know his name. He did some stuff with The Blacklist. He did The Gray, Smoking Aces. So he's got action things under his name. So If you're interested at all, go ahead and check it out. Up after that is Clown in a Cornfield, a movie that I know Nadia was very excited for in our text thread. But a fading Midwestern town in which Friendo the Clown, a symbol of bygone success, reemerges as a terrifying scourge. This is coming from the director of Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, which is a great horror spoof satire. And this looks like it is a kind of dark comedy slasher horror, so very kind of similar kind of tone. So excited to see what this can do. The reviews have been kind of middle of the road, but we'll see how it is when it actually comes out.
Yep.
And last up is Nana's. After losing his beloved mother, a man risks everything to honor her by opening an Italian restaurant with actual grandmothers as the chefs. This just sounds like a fun little movie. It's looks like it's releasing on Netflix this Friday, so you can check it out on Netflix. It might be available in some theaters potentially, but it looks like it will be in on your subscription service. Cool that it does star Vince Vaughn. Excuse me. Other big names include Lorraine Bracco, who is the wife of the main character in Goodfellas. Also kind of important to point out. But then also Linda Cardellini and Susan Sarandon are also in the cast. So it's got some big names to it, which I will never complain about. But that is going to be it for the written or kind of predestined part of the show this week. I never have a good name for that. The news section. There we go. It's movie news reviews.
Now it's on to the sports.
Now it's on to the weather. So we got some movies that we watched this week. Obviously, Kevin watched his film and the film that won the wheel spin. I watched 5 movies outside of my 3 wheel spins. So let's go ahead and we'll get through them. So up first for me, I went and saw Thunderbolts, and man, was I impressed. I really dug this movie. I really like how this film focuses on characters who need to be given a second chance. There's already a powerful story in that, and I think that they do that very, very well here. Because a lot of these characters maybe weren't given a fair shake, weren't given enough to do, were not the most memorable in their previous run, whatever it may have been. So this was a really good chance for them to do their own thing. I'm really trying to tread a line here because I don't want to spoil anything. The movie is fantastic, and the cast and the writing are the biggest reason for why this film works. It's a very good script, and it's very good performances. Florence Pugh's Yelena is easily the star of the show here, but I also really enjoyed Lewis Pullman's Bob. Was a very good addition to the cast. I'm not going to say who he actually is. I know people know who he is, but I'm not going to say it. And then David Harbour's Red Guardian was also surprisingly good in this movie. Like, he was funny in Black Widow, but he's like surprisingly good here, which I really liked. If there's anything I have that's like negative, there is a character in this movie that literally does not make a difference whether they're there or not, and that's kind of upsetting. I won't spoil why, and I won't really say more because it will spoil things. Also, I didn't feel like there was anything specifically special about the film's direction. It just kind of felt like a movie. It didn't have like a director's stamp on it. It didn't feel like uniquely Jake Schreier's. So that was a little disappointing. But I will say you can definitely feel that this movie was directed by people who do smaller productions and like A24 type films, because that was a big marketing thing they did. They did a teaser where they said like, oh, the director of Beef, and then the starring Academy Award nominated actors or whatever. Like they did, like, you know, they didn't say Florence Pugh from Dune. They said Florence Pugh from Midsommar, and like, you know, and then like, you know, Sebastian Stan from A Different Man, and you know, whatever. So like, it was cool the way they marketed this movie. The biggest thing that I do need to say is a positive with this movie, though, and that they fixed over other Marvel movies, is that not everything is a joke. There is some serious and heavy subject matter in this movie that is treated really well. And the fact that someone can share something going on with them and share like a mental health issue, and it's not just like, oh well, like it's not the thing where like in Infinity War or Endgame, where Don Cheadle's like, oh, is he filled with cheese whiz or whatever? When Thor's fat, it's nothing. There's nothing like that. Like it handles it very well. So it's fantastic. Really liked it, and I can't wait to see these characters in Doomsday. So
Okay.
up after that, I watched Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Kevin watched it a couple of weeks ago, and I own it, so I wanted to get it. I don't know if you can tell on my shelf, but there are movies that are sideways. Those are the movies that I haven't reviewed yet, and it was sideways, so I just wanted to flip it up. It's nice when I can go to my shelf and flip up a movie, I still like this movie quite a lot. It definitely has some issues, though. This is definitely early Phil Lord and Christopher Miller humor. If you've seen the Lego movie, you know a lot of like the kind of humor that this movie has to it. It's a surprisingly heartfelt movie. There's a lot like the part with Bill Hader and his father towards the end is really emotional, and I really like that. The cast is clearly having a blast reading the dialogue. I don't think that this movie is completely full of life all the time. It does feel a bit bland. It does feel a bit lifeless every once in a while. But then it will just undo that by having a snowball fight that looks like the main character running into someone's house and gunning down a family. So for every moment of like lifelessness there's a moment like that's full of life. It's very inconsistent. It's a good movie. I do recommend it, but I do think that the Lego movie is far superior in that similar type of humor. So,
yeah. And did you enjoy Steve in this movie?
I think the monkey's fine.
He's fine. He gets a little annoying to me sometimes.
He gets a little annoying. He's definitely better in the sequel.
Yeah.
Which was the next movie I watched.
Oh, look at that segue.
Look at that. I like the sequel more. I know a lot of people don't like it as much, which is typical with sequels, but I think the sequel's a little bit better. The characters are a little bit more hollow. They don't really feel like they're characters from time to time, especially the main character. You do feel the lack of Phil Lord and Christopher Miller here, but I think the humor in this film more than makes up for it. There's a creativity with the way that the food animal creatures are designed. Like, it's full of dad jokes and puns, but and I hate those usually, but this movie for some reason gets underneath my funny bone and makes me laugh. Like the part where they're in a boat and they're like, there's a leak in the boat. And then there's like an actual leak plant. And it just looks at the camera and goes like, ah, is funny to me. And I don't care. That's peak humor. When it tries to be a Jurassic Park style film where they're going to this island because there's creatures there, it's a blast because the creature designs are so cool and so fun. But when it's trying to be this like anti-capitalist, anti-tech movie because it has a villain that's basically just Steve Jobs and Apple, that's when it kind of falls apart. The villain's not interesting. That whole storyline is just not interesting. So yeah, I think but it is a better movie by just a little bit. I do like the second movie more than the first one. Always have. All right, and now we start going downhill. As we've been steadily going downhill ever since Thunderbolts, Until Dawn. I was really excited for this movie with the trailers. I thought it was going to be a cool way to do a Groundhog Day style horror film again, which I want to see that kind of thing happen, especially when we're given the promise that every night is going to be different. I'm not going to spoil it. That's not the case all the time. I've seen the game all the way through, the Until Dawn game. This has one major thing to do with the game, but it's a confusing and puzzling one, and they try to connect it, but it just doesn't work. Also, there's this whole supernatural Groundhog Day thing, which doesn't happen in the game, so that's what's really confusing. There's one particular story thread the film goes down, which makes no sense, and they only kind of throw it on towards the end. And there's a specific kind of enemy that they inject into this movie, and it just doesn't work. The problem is that all the stuff that's far more interesting is shown to us as clips on another character's phone and not actual nights that they go through, which is really depressing because there's some really cool stuff that happens in those nights that they don't remember, right? But like, we don't see those. I would have rather have seen those, and that actually made me kind of pissed off. But on the positive side, those ideas are cool. The cast is decent I'm going to say pretty good for a horror movie these days, because I feel like horror movies really spend all their budget on the practical effects, the blood and gore, and then skimp on the actors. The actors here are good. They do feel like they could have been in one of Supermassive's games. You know, they do make some frustrating choices, but I think that that's more to the writing and not necessarily the performances. So I'll say that. There are some really creepy moments. Like, I will say that this movie is very jump scare heavy, but in a way that doesn't necessarily fail all the time. Now, if you know me, I hate jump scares. I think jump scares are cheap, they're lazy, and they're a pathetic way to scare your audience. But this movie, like, for those of you who can tell when a jump scare is coming, you might have some difficulties here. They will literally make the movie so quiet for like 10 minutes straight. And you're expecting something the whole time. And I will give credit where credit is due. That it did get me a couple of times. So I will say that. I will give credit to the audio designers here. I think this is a good movie in theory, but in practice, it's really mixed. There's great ideas here that are just lost in trying to make something connected to the original film. And it feels like a major disappointment from the director, Sandberg, who's made some great films. It's just a shame, because I was genuinely excited for this one. But I was also really excited for The Legend of Ochi, which, I did not like this movie. So this is probably the first movie from A24 that I have outright not liked, which is very shocking. This is A24's attempt at doing an E.T. or a Flight of the Navigator style film, an adventure movie between a human character and their non-human companion. There's an eternal place for movies like this. There's always stories to tell with that kind of formula. But the biggest problem here is that this movie's writing and this movie's pacing are awful. This movie is an hour and a half, and it feels like 3 hours. Like, it's one of those. It's similar to the A Complete Unknown, right? Like, I looked down at my phone, like, oh, it must have been an hour already, and it only been 30 minutes. And I was like, oh my god, it moves at the pace of molasses. It's very annoying. Also, the writing is terrible. This feels like someone trying to mimic or imitate Wes Anderson without anything that makes Wes Anderson Wes Anderson. And like emotionless acting, no like stoic wooden expressions. It's really annoying, because the film has talented actors in Willem Dafoe and Emily Watson, who are both probably some of their worst performances I've ever seen. And it's because of the material they've been given. But no one on this cast is more terrible than the main actress. I think that she is awful. Helena Zengel is terrible in this movie. She is wooden. There's a couple moments where she has some genuine emotion, but before you get to that, it's just a lot of just blank, emotionless expressions, and just like I could not stand her at all, which is really annoying. But while these failures are annoying, what isn't is the actual titular Ochi. The practical effects in this movie are some of the best puppetry effects I've ever seen in a film. The Ochi just looks real, and it's genuinely. And I do hope this movie gets nominated for an Oscar for its visual effects. It deserves it, 100%. I will say also, I don't like the visual style for the movie. There's moments, I hate saying this, but there's moments when it looks like it was done by AI, because things don't always look the most natural or real. But I do understand they're going for like a fantasy fairy tale style story. So maybe that's just a visual style choice and not AI. And I don't like saying that it is AI, because that's a fallacy. But it just doesn't look that good. I think it's got really good intentions, but when you have a director who's trying to make something this ambitious and they have never made a film before, and it shows, it was a little rough. I did not enjoy this movie.
Okay.
So, but let's go ahead. We got some comments here. I just watched Smosh Games playing Until Dawn. Well, hey, there you go, and welcome to the channel. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're doing good. The writing and motivations in the game, from what I saw, was horrendous. The worst 80s horror tropes in a modern setting. It just didn't work. Yeah, I mean, like, if you're a fan of those 80s horror films, though, like, people ate up Until Dawn. Like, in the same way that people eat up things like, Sleepaway Camp, or like things like that. So, like, the horror the horror community is very excited about things like that, and I think that getting a huge AAA first party release for a game like that is really cool. So I think that's why people do enjoy it. The performances in the game are good, though. You know, Rami Malek's in it, and he's an Oscar winner. So, but all right, let's go ahead and get into the wheel spin movies. I've got 3 because I did a short and 2 movies. Kevin did 2. So I guess I'll just start. So we're kind of alternate.
Okay.
My short this week was Duck Rabbit Duck from 1953. This is the final short in the trilogy of the the pronoun trouble shorts. You know, like the duck season, rabbit season, ducks. It's the final one, and I would say it's the least good of the 3 in my opinion, but it's still good. I like the 50s animation. I like Chuck Jones's animation style around that time period. And I will say that I really also love the baseball joke in this movie. There's a part where, Bugs is dressed up as a game warden and walks up to Elmer Fudd, and Elmer Fudd's like, dude, just tell me, what season is it? And the game warden's like, it's baseball season. And pulls... That was really fun. I think it was fine. But not my favorite of the 3, but it was still good.
Okay.
So
nice.
Kevin.
Well, I'll start talking now. So Donald's in my phone it still says Donald's Cream voice, but I knew it was Dream voice, so I had to make sure. So Donald's Dream voice. I love the animation in this, but unfortunately there was no story involved in this that I thoroughly enjoyed. So it's Donald taking a pill, unlicensed pill from a dealer from the street, which is he's just taking drugs at this point, to make his voice sound normal, so he can make money. And that's the whole story of this, and everybody buys money. Everybody shoves their money in his face because he sounds like a radio host pretty much, and then he loses the pill, and that's the end of the short. So unfortunately it was just it was a little too fast as well. It was only a 6-minute short, but it didn't seem like we got to an apex or a anything like that. So I gave it a 67 out of 100. I mean, the animation still holds up to this day. I absolutely love it, but story just didn't drag me in.
All right. Excuse me. Sorry to yawn. That was not you. It's been a long day. Alrighty. So my first movie, because I did 2 movies this week of my own choice. My first was Jack Frost from 1997, and I've told a lot of people about this movie that I had to watch it. It came up in conversation, like, oh, what did you watch this week? I had to watch Jack Frost, and everyone remembers this movie because it used to be at Blockbuster, and they would have that lenticular cover that would change between a regular snowman and the angry one. Everyone remembers picking that up at some point at their local Blockbuster. So it was interesting that so many people remember this movie, but I've never seen it. I went in with no expectations, but I didn't have high hopes. And I will say that this film is bad, but it knows that it's bad. And it is an enjoyable, guilty pleasure time. Like, yeah, everything in this movie is like not firing. It's a misfire on all levels, but it knows that it's bad. It knows that it has a low budget, so it uses a puppet snowman instead of, like any kind of other effect. Like the actors are all annoying and wooden and emotionless, but they just serve to die. Why is there just some weird, like, government agent that looks like a secret spy? Like, this movie is fucking weird, man, but it is super fun in how bad it is. And I think that this is a great movie to have on the back of a party, or like a Halloween event, or even like a Christmas party if you're, a weirdo and want to put this on. But it's one that people can have fun with. And I think like there aren't enough killer snowman movies, so I was a little bit generous. I gave it a 34. I did enjoy it, even though I found it to be really bad. So 34 is what I gave it.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, my next up is Top Secret with it's not
it's Val Kilmer. His name.
What is it?
Val Kilmer.
Yeah, Val Kilmer. In this came after Airplane, and it shows that it wanted to be like Airplane, but unfortunately, it just falls a little bit short. There are some funny moments, like Airplane does have its moments as well. I really liked Val Kilmer in this movie actually as well. He was really funny in this movie, but everybody else is not. Well, I don't want to say not. It's just they're not memorable, unfortunately. Um, I mean, it's slapstick comedy. It's airplane comedy. So if you like that, it's really really good. But I mean, the action sequences were pretty funny. I knew the twist that happens in the middle of this movie because you could see it coming from like 3 miles away. But it was still good. It was a still enjoyable movie. I gave it a 70 out of 100.
All right. And lastly for me, I watched the 1983 comedy Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. And I thought that this was a genuinely fantastic comedy that satirizes the rich and powerful in America. And I think that, nothing is really spared here. It goes over race, gender, class. Like, there's a whole lot that it upends and satirizes. Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd are really great here. I think Eddie Murphy is the better of the two. This is definitely when he's in his kind of golden hour. And I also think it was really nice to see Jamie Lee Curtis in anything. She was great here. And then Denholm Elliott plays a butler instead of playing Indiana Jones's principal. So it was cool to see that. The film can get a little uncomfortable for some because of some of its language and themes, but I think that everything is played for a laugh, and it helps that, it ends up being a pretty positive film by the end of the day and kind of serving to, say and do good things. Like I said, Eddie Murphy's the standout here. Aykroyd's also good, but he's not nearly at his Ghostbusters level. But I think Eddie Murphy's the reason why I enjoyed this as much as I did. It's good. It's not my favorite comedy ever, but it's one that has a lot going on under the hood with its themes and its writing, and I respect it for that. So I gave it an 80. I wouldn't say it's something I'm rushing to rewatch, but I definitely enjoyed it, and I see the value in it. I just don't think it's funnier than something like, Monty Python and the Holy Grail or Blazing Saddles by any means. But, but that is it for all the movies that we watched. So I'll go ahead and get everything ready here, but we have some comments. Lol. I'd argue rabbit seasoning is the weakest of the three. Suffers from sequelitis from rabbit fire. Same setting, same jokes, trying to convince Daffy to have himself shot. They're not bad, just tweaked. Sure. Rabbit Duck is in the snow, has a different way to get Daffy, and has Elmer's stupidity up to 11. Yeah, it's true. I just don't think this was nearly as iconic as the other two. And I think that's what kind of did it for me. Word was Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder were originally supposed to be in Trading Places. That would have been great. The two of them were fantastic together, even though I know they had some friction and didn't really like each other at points. But I could see definitely how it was supposed to be them. But I think that Eddie Murphy did a really good job in the movie, and I really enjoyed his performance. So would have been cool to see Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, though. Alrighty. But that is going to be it for everything regarding what we're talking about. We're going to go ahead and get into the wheel spin, which is where we do what, Kevin? Kevin, what do we do with this?
Oh, you were lagging in and out for me. Sorry. So.
Oh, no worries.
I didn't hear you.
We're getting to the wheel spin, which is where we're going to spin a wheel. We got to watch whatever it lands on. So we'll go ahead and give it 2 minutes for you guys to get some suggestions in here. Kevin still has access to all of his stuff, so he can watch everything that you would normally be able to watch.
Correct.
And then obviously, as do I. I will only do one movie this week, though. 2 was I had a very busy weekend, so I was barely able to get 2 done. So, Joey says "Coming to America." I don't know if that's on here already.
I don't think so.
No, it's not. All right, "Coming to America." I have not seen it, and I don't think.
Nope, I have not. I've heard of it though.
Yeah, it's also a sequel too. So, but what kind of movie are you thinking for, Kevin? What do you want to see?
I don't know. Let me see what's on there.
I love the specificity of this. The Land Before Time 4.
Journey Through the Mists. Ooh, maybe a Toy Story 4 Treasure Planet. That would be sick to watch.
There you go. There you go. Nice, nice. I don't know. I've been really in the mood to watch like just some cheesy horror movies. I don't know why. Matt, you're just going to suggest every Land Before Time, aren't you? Hey, you know what? Bring back some nostalgia. Let's do it. But yeah, like I almost watched Frankenhooker last night because it was on Amazon Prime. And I kind of wanted to watch something like that. I also watched a video recently of like a Disturbing Films iceberg, so I kind of wanted to maybe watch some of those kind of films. There's one I really want to watch called Zero Day, which I don't know if you've heard of, Kevin.
Zero Day.
It's basically a found footage movie where the found footage is basically like, what if the two guys that shot up Columbine recorded everything they did before doing it? And so it's basically it's basically their home video type thing for like it's highly reviewed on Letterboxd. People saying it's one of the best and scariest found footage movies because of how realistic it is. So I'm definitely wanting to check that out. I think it's on like Tubi or something. Alrighty, well we are at 2 minutes though. Let's go ahead and spin up this wheel, Kevin. You know, just because I love you, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get you a short. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, let's get you a short. Hopefully, we land on one.
Even if we do, I can't see it, so it's okay.
The art of something. Let me go ahead and I'm going to sort this real quick so I can see. The art of self-defense. I believe that is a Disney one. Maybe?
I don't know. Let's see.
The art of self-defense. Yes, it's a Goofy one. But it is not on Disney Plus, so you will have to probably check that out on like Internet Archive or that new site I gave you. Alrighty. Let me go ahead. I know it's kind of annoying because we can't really like, see what they are, but come on, give me the Stalker one. I keep forgetting I can just watch it, but let's see here. Wags to Riches is mine. Wags to Riches. I don't know if this is a Looney Tunes one or...
Yeah, who was that?
Oh, it's a Droopy one. I have not watched a Droopy one yet, so I am all here for that. All right, let me go ahead and I gotta find it here. All right, shuffle. It's not. Could have sworn it was on Disney Plus. Well, it's online somewhere. Someone's uploaded it.
We'll find it. Don't you worry.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, he'll watch something else.
It doesn't. Oh well.
All righty, Kevin, your movie
is going to be.
And it's gonna be Vampires. Which
Wes Craven?
It's a John Carpenter one.
That's who I meant. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it looks like that's the one then.
You said 98? Oh, yeah.
Vampires. I did also forget, Nadia did text me a movie beforehand today, so I will put it on the list. I just remembered. Dr. Giggles.
Okay.
Shuffle that up. And we will go ahead. Did I already remove Vampires? Yes, I did. Okay. We'll shuffle this up. And spin. I don't know what I want. Give me something good.
Well, it's going to give you something. It will spin.
Are you kidding me? An ache in every steak?
What the heck is that?
That's a Three Stooges short. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
ahead and I gotta change that. That is a short. My bad. Okay. Dude, I was like, I had to shuffle it, but I was one away from the Stalker short. I'm pissed. All right, spin it again. Maybe I'll just watch it tonight. Who knows? The Curse of Frankenstein. I did say I wanted a horror movie.
Mm-hmm. You said you wanted a cheesy one. This might be good for you, though.
Hey, it's a Peter Cushing one. But I am going to have to rent it. That's fine. I will go ahead and watch that, though. It is The Curse of Frankenstein. Ooh.
Ooh.
James Woods is in Vampires and brings all his snarkiness. Before he went off the deep end. Awesome stuff. So, for those of you who were not paying attention, did you play the Stalker games? The original one, no. I own it, but I have only played like maybe an hour of it. I did play like a good 2 or 3 hours of the newest one that was on Xbox Game Pass, and it didn't hook me. But also there was something else that came out around the same time that I wanted to play instead. So
Oblivion.
I'll get to it at some point. No, this was a while ago.
Oh.
Alrighty, so Kevin will be watching the short The Art of Self-Defense and the film Vampires from John Carpenter. I will be watching the short Wags to Riches, which is a droopy short, and The Curse of Frankenstein, the 1957 one.
Very cool.
You were the one that recommended the Stalker short film, and I keep wanting to get it because it's such a cool thing. Because it's also like the Stalker games are based on the same book that one of my favorite movies that we've watched on Movie Club, Stalker, is based off of. So I'm really excited to see that short film. So maybe I'll just watch it. Who knows? But all right, everyone, that is going to be it for the live stream this week. Thank you all for joining us, of course. Thank you, Kevin, for tuning in live from another state somewhere in the world. We're not going to tell you where he is. It's if someone guesses it, then good for you. But of course, we do have this live stream goes live every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which thank you for joining us. And of course, we have our new episode of Movie Club, which comes out on Friday, which is going to be the Iranian film A Separation, which we are very excited to talk about. So make sure you are subscribed so you get notifications for that. And that's about it. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week at the same time, same place. And until next time, make sure to keep those eyes on the screen. All right, everyone. Have a good night.